The Bookstore Encounter. Chapter 1. Rain and Wrong Turns. The storm had begun as a faint drizzle when Emma left her Upper West Side apartment, but by the time she reached Midtown, it had transformed into a proper autumn deluge. Manhattan's slick streets reflected the neon glow of restaurant signs and taxi tops like a distorted funhouse mirror. Emma clutched her umbrella with one hand and her phone with the other, squinting at Rachel's last text. "He's tall, dark hair, will be wearing a blue scarf. You'll love him." Her boots, brand new Italian leather that had cost half a paycheck, squelched ominously as she dodged a particularly aggressive puddle. The bistro where she was supposed to meet this mystery yoga enthusiast was still 3 blocks away, but her hair was already escaping its careful updo in damp tendrils around her face. When her umbrella suddenly inverted with a dramatic snap, Emma let out an undignified yelp and made a desperate beeline for the nearest shelter. A deep oak doorway framed by brass lanterns. The sign above read, "Hart and Sons Antiquarian Books," in elegant script that looked like it hadn't been updated since the shop's founding. Through the rain-streaked glass, she could see towering shelves disappearing into shadowy heights, illuminated by the warm glow of what looked like original Tiffany lamps. Emma was just pulling out her phone to send Rachel's setup a cancellation text when the bookstore door swung open with a creak worthy of a Gothic novel. Chapter 2. First Impressions. Are you planning to drown out here, or would you prefer to ruin my interior instead? The voice was deep, dry, and unmistakably annoyed. Emma looked up to see a man who looked like he'd been plucked from the dustiest corner of his own rare book collection. Tall and lean with ink-stained fingers, his dark hair slightly too long and tousled as if he'd been running his hands through it. His shirt sleeves were rolled up to reveal forearms decorated with what appeared to be a combination of pen marks and what might have been charcoal from sketching. Emma bristled automatically. I was just seeking shelter from the apocalypse. He stepped aside with exaggerated courtesy. By all means, flood my shop. The 18th century French parquet flooring could use some warping. The interior of Hart and Sons was more like a bibliophile's cathedral than a bookstore. 3 stories of dark walnut shelves rose dramatically, connected by spiral staircases with wrought iron railings and those wheeled ladders Emma had only seen in movies. The air was thick with the scent of aging paper, leather bindings, and something woody and warm. Possibly the proprietor's cologne. Possibly just the ghosts of a century's worth of tobacco smoke lingering in the walls. Emma's ruined boots left damp footprints on the Persian rug as she entered. "I'll pay for any damages," she said stiffly. The man, Liam Hart, as the embossed nameplate on the counter revealed, arched one dark eyebrow. That rug survived Prohibition, 2 world wars, and my grandfather's cigar habit. I doubt your footwear can do worse." He tossed her a towel with the long-suffering air of a man accustomed to dealing with damp idiots. "Try not to drip on the Blake illustrations." Chapter 3. The Blind Date That Wasn't 3 Cups of Tea. And 2 hours later, Emma found herself still ensconced in a cracked leather armchair that had clearly been someone's favorite for decades. The rain continued its relentless assault on the windows, creating a cocoon of warmth inside the shop. She'd sent her would-be date a polite cancellation text. "Emergency. Rain. Maybe next week." Though she knew there wouldn't be a next week. The yoga enthusiast would have to find someone else to appreciate his sun salutations. Liam emerged from the philosophy section balancing a precarious stack of volumes. "Since you've made yourself at home," he said, dropping them onto the low table beside her with a thump, "you might as well earn your keep." Emma eyed the books. What exactly constitutes keep in this establishment? Opinions. Liam perched on the arm of a neighboring chair, close enough that she could see the faint lines around his eyes when he smirked. "First edition Pride and Prejudice versus the 1925 Great Gatsby. Which would you save from a fire?" Emma ran her fingers over the embossed cover of the Austen. "That's like asking which limb I'd prefer to keep." "Indulge me." She opened the Austen carefully, inhaling the scent of aged paper. "Neither. I'd grab that signed Morrison first printing in your display case." Liam's lips twitched, the closest thing to a smile she'd seen from him yet. Interesting choice. "Not really." Emma met his gaze squarely. "Just the right one." Chapter 4. Literary Sparring. Over the next month, Emma became something between a regular customer and a permanent fixture at Hart & Sons. She told herself it was because the shop had the best collection of modernist literature in the city. Then she pretended it was for the excellent tea Liam started keeping in stock, after learning her preference. But by her 6th visit, when she caught herself noticing how his sweater stretched across his shoulders when he reached for high shelves, she had to admit the truth. She was developing feelings for the infuriating, brilliant, unexpectedly soft-hearted bookseller. Their debates became the stuff of legend among the shop's few regulars. Emma championed stream-of-consciousness experimentation. Liam defended classical structure. She mocked the pretentiousness of certain beat poets. He ridiculed her affection for overly sentimental Victorian novels. "You only like Wuthering Heights because you're secretly a romantic," Liam accused one evening as they reshelved the Bronte collection. Emma nearly dropped her stack of books. "I am not. Admit it." He leaned closer, his voice dropping. "You want Heathcliff to show up on your doorstep, rain-soaked and brooding." His eyes flicked meaningfully to the still damp umbrella in her bag. "Sound familiar?" The air between them crackled with tension. Emma's pulse pounded so loudly she was certain he could hear it over the soft jazz playing in the background. Chapter 5. The Confession. The turning point came on a snowy evening in December. Emma arrived to find the shop dark, but a note taped to the door read, "For the editor who thinks she knows everything, page 214. Inside the copy of Jane Eyre she'd been eyeing for weeks. Nestled between the pages where Jane first hears Rochester's voice calling her across the moors, was a handwritten note. Emma, I don't believe in love at first sight, but I do believe in recognizing a kindred spirit across a crowded room. You walked into my shop and into my life like one of your beloved plot twists, unexpected, disruptive, and exactly what the story needed. Meet me at the Algonquin at 8. I'll be the one with the first edition and the nervous smile. Yours, if you'll have me, Liam.